All right, and with that, I am so excited to say that we're ready for some adorable classic SNES gameplay as we join the Axeman for an any percent run of Soul Blazer. Chat, please give your warmest welcome to the Axeman.
Hello, I'm so pumped to be here, and so is TaskBot. Yeah, this is going to be the 80% run for Soul Blazer. So we are the follower or the main disciple of God, or no, not God, the Master, and he says that we should have a name. And so, what name did we donate for? Is the first question here.
That's a very important question to ask. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for donating to help us name the character for this speedrun. Our winning name with $28 is Violet, Violet, with the V capitalized, please.
All right.
Shoutouts to Lonk and Meta Knight as well for also pulling in some donations. Again, thanks everyone for contributing to a fantastic cause.
All right. So when we get started here, are we ready to start with the time?
I believe we're ready to go when you are.
All right, let's get going. So, it's an interesting name, and we're going to be going to save all creatures here. So Soul Blazer is this awesome action RPG. A lot of people probably know this, but it takes place in the Freilian Kingdom, and there's a story that starts out in the beginning that was, kind of scrolling through there. It has something to do with like a king finding. So there's an inventor named Dr. Leo and a king who kidnapped Dr. Leo and threatened his family and said, "I want you to create a machine to summon a demon." And he summoned the demon, and when the demon got there, he made a deal to sell the souls of everyone in his kingdom to just for like 1 coin each. It didn't really say what he wanted the money for. He just, decided, he wanted some extra money, so he's gonna sell the souls of everything, and not just people. Apparently, flowers and plants and animals are all of their souls have been sold. So we are the Soul Blazer, and we will be saving those souls. So the basic mechanic here is that we have these layers, which are these sort of like red glowing things, and the enemies pop out of these layers and come at us, or maybe their AI is kind of bad, and they just sort of stand there and let us kill them, which is, convenient. So we're going to abuse that a lot. But we have to kill all these enemies, and some layers just keep popping out enemies, and other times the layers just sort of they pop out one at a time. So we have to figure out what the best way to do this is. And I know how many enemies come out of each layer, and so we're gonna I'm gonna try and optimize my movement and everything. Some of the other strategies in general are going to be, if there are 2 layers close to them, we're going to try and beat all of the enemies at once. Let's see, and what are the other mechanics? When you beat one of these layers and step on it, a couple things can happen. One of them is that... Oh. Ah. Okay, so I got low on HP here. Yeah, so
Yep.
there's sometimes when we stop on the lair, we reveal an NPC. So an NPC gets revived, and usually there will be a person, but oftentimes the person will be associated with like a building or something. And so we'll spawn in, that's how we'll spawn in things like a water mill that we need to start to power an elevator. Or a bridge. And so a bridge guard that's guarding the bridge, even though the bridge is a little small and doesn't really need a guard.
I love the bridge guards dialogue.
And sometimes I accidentally talk with the people too much.
That's just called being friendly. That's a feature.
So the text in this game is displayed one letter at a time, rather slowly too. Like it's 3 frames per letter, and so like it's adding a lot of time to do this extra dialogue. In the Japanese version, it was actually a lot faster. It was only like one frame per letter.
Chat, feel free to calculate how many frames your latest chat message would have taken to appear in this game as a fun math exercise.
Oh yeah.
If you're feeling really spicy, then donate that amount, but I don't know. You gotta do what works for you.
So this first world is like a mining town where Dr. Leo, I guess, used to live, and his daughter Lisa still lives here. Or at least she did before, you know, everyone's soul got sold off. I think everything counts as a letter, like punctuation and spaces and as you also noticed, we took an intentional death to get out of the last dungeon. So that's going to be another strat that we use a bunch of times. Just because it gets us back to this sort of central shrine that we can get to the town or get to certain other areas. So this last guy was an architect that builds a set of stairs, and the stairs are going to go up to Dr. Leo's old house. So we have this magic, and the magic comes out of, actually there is an explanation right in the beginning there. The magic comes out of the orb that's circling us, which is actually like someone's soul is circling us in this like glowing orb, and that's our source of magic. And there are actually several others, like there's a soul in like every world that comes out there and can help you. And each of those souls gives you some sort of like special ability. Unfortunately, we're actually going to skip most of them. And some of them do things like let you see in the dark. Well, in the next world, there's one that lets you see in the dark. And so, but we're just going to do dark rooms because that soul, like, he talks too much. And so we leave that off. There's also like extra lag if you have these souls. So we're going to leave these off. So we're going to go in Lisa's dream here. And in order to go in someone's dream, you have to use the dream rod. And we picked up the dream rod early on. We actually equipped it before we got it. So there's actually a trick here where if you go in the menu and move the cursor and then leave the menu, you can pre-equip things. It's based on where the cursor is rather than like whether you actually have the item or not. So we actually pre-equipped the dream rod before we did it, and so we took our dream rod in hand and went up to the sleeping girl and touched her with our rod to enter her dream. And then that opened up this passage into Dr. Leo's. So this passage here, we walked by here. This is our third time going through this underground castle area. And the dream opened up this passage where we got Leo's brush. So with that brush, we can now go into the last area in this act, which is Leo's painting. And this is going to be, we're going into a painting. So apparently Dr. Leo is a real Renaissance man. I mean, he's a painter, a inventor, a father.
I also just like how we get to go into paintings way before Mario 64 did it. So, it kind of stole from this game, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, this game was like pretty far ahead of its time as far as like the complexity of the plot and everything, especially for like an action game. So yeah, some of these layers, they're sort of like already there, and you just have to kill them, and then you end up popping the layer. Most of the layers, I guess, most of them are either single spawn, where they spawn one at a time. You've got to beat one enemy, and then before the next one pops up. So I'm abusing the AI here by standing just to one space to the left of the enemies, and a lot of enemies will either not move or they'll shoot kind of like in the wrong direction if you're just to the left of them. That was alright. We didn't need to get all of those guys. I'm using my fireballs here to get just a little extra DPS and beat these guys a little bit faster. If I can get the fireball to come up at just the right time. Okay, first boss. Alright, that's the first boss. So we're going to be
very nice.
a bit. So yeah, it's a great time if you've got donations or anything else from our lovely host here.
Well, I just want to say, this is already a really fun run. I'm having a great time, chat. I hope you are as well. I'd like to let everyone know that when you donate, there's definitely multiple things you can put your donations towards. We've got bid wars, we've got incentives. Some coming up that I think are going to be really cool are we have some extra songs that we can to one of our games coming up here. And it's a rhythm game, and anytime there's a rhythm game with bonus songs, those bonus songs are going to be epic. So if you haven't donated, I know, right? Gosh, rhythm games are super cool. This game is really cool. So many cool games. Just impossible how many amazing things are going on. But if you'd like to donate towards that, make sure you donate or choose that incentive when you're donating. We also have some incentives for Mario Odyssey coming up later. We can go to the dark side of the moon and the darker side of the moon. And I would personally recommend those because that's where all the bunnies live. So if you'd like to see more bunnies in that game, just personal preferably donate towards that as well. So again, !donate in the chat. You can get us some extra songs for our rhythm game coming up a little bit later, or you can get us some more bunnies in Super Mario Odyssey. So plenty of options for you today.
Nice. So that first boss, if you're a fan of this series, you might know that the first boss there reappeared in Illusion of Gaia, which is sort of a spiritual sequel by the same team that made this game. I think they call him Strong Arm. So now we're going to the second world. The second world is sort of an animal village in the forest. But the town is an animal village. The action area is going to be a series of shrines in a swamp. And we're going to be beating some of these enemies. Sometimes we're going to kill extra enemies in order to get some gems. Now, if we're lucky... Nice! Okay, so that doesn't always work out. Number of gems. So I was a little worried, but we did pull it off, and that saves like 15 seconds. So a little bit more about magic and gems. We need, every time the enemies die, they leave these gems. So there's those little orbs. And the little orbs only give us 1 gem. The next biggest one, that's sort of a medium size, those are worth 5. And then the big ones are worth 10. And you notice we're not getting a lot of the big ones. The odds go up as you get further along. So as you get to the next act, the odds to get the bigger gems go up. And we need those bigger gems because we need to be able to cast our magic. And there's a really huge... So because it's such a big gap between 1 gem and 5, like we need those bigger gems to drop, or else we're not going to be able to like cast enough magic. So it's a really big help. So yeah, we need these gems. There's a lot of tricks we can do to get extra gems. And some of it we're doing to get extra gems and experience. Like, I'm going to kill some extra enemies here. We only need to get this enemy layer there, but I'm going to get these enemies up here to come and come down and join us so that we can get their gems as well. Because we need those gems. Oh, nice. So you see we got those big ones are worth 10. So that jumped up our reserves pretty much. And that was actually a really nice pattern there. Like sometimes the plants kind of move randomly, and they can sort of like spread out so that our fireballs won't hit them as easily, but they sort of all stayed in one line, which let us get them pretty easy. The fireball takes 4 gems, every single fireball, and we can fire it pretty rapidly and nail the enemies, but we need 4 gems per fireball, so definitely need to have a few of those around. So sometimes, if this plant here, if it spawns and picks the bottom direction, then it'll stay in one place and let us kill it like that. We can beat it faster. When it sticks out its arm, it's invincible. So we want it to not move and stick out its arm and let us beat it, but no. So damage boosting is a huge thing in this run. And we also need more gems. So I'm beating extra enemies to get more gems. We beat these enemies over here to reveal that layer. So one of the details that's important is... Ooh, big gems. When you beat an enemy layer, or when you start a sequence to release something where you are releasing one of the souls, what happens is there's sort of that resets everything. So it resets the enemy layers so that they... Oh, shoot. That was more damage than I should have taken. It resets the enemy layers so that you can they all spawn again. So if an enemy layer spawns like 5 enemies, and you release an enemy from another layer in the same area, then it resets. And so if you beat some of them, now you've got to beat them all again. So we don't want that to happen. Okay. You're a little low on health, so I pulled off some tricks to save a little health here. Oh, thanks for the raid. Oh wait, I didn't want to do that. I shouldn't have. Yeah, I accidentally said to go back when we didn't want to. And well, I think we'll be okay.
It'll be fine. It gives me a chance to say
It'll
hi
be
to everyone
fine,
coming
yeah.
in. Welcome to Power Up with Pride. We're supporting the Trevor Project. If you would like to donate, you can use !donate in chat. If you'd like to see our schedule, !schedule. Welcome everyone. Hope you're having a great day.
So I shouldn't have said. I accidentally said to go back when really we just wanted to go through here. I probably should have. Well, I'll do that real quick.
The dungeon does feel a lot friendlier now that there's not monsters trying to kill us everywhere. So this is kind of
Yeah.
neat. Like now it seems a little bit more welcoming than before.
Yeah, we can just sort of walk right through here. So there's a way you can open up a path that goes across the middle there, but of course I didn't beat those layers because we're trying to beat the minimum number of layers that we need to. So yeah, don't when they ask if you want to go back to town, the answer is no. We wanted to continue beating this dungeon. Because we actually don't need a lot of these layers. All right, let's see. And that enemy ran away, which if he doesn't, we can kind of get this little skill shot. And yeah, he totally ran off. Oh, there he's back. So we have a medical herb that will heal us when we...
There it was. You might have seen it. Medical herb will heal us when we run out of all of our hit points. So you can see that player bar. It went all the way down, then it went all the way back up. That was our medical herb kicking in.
But that was our only medical herb, so I need to be careful not to let it happen again. Okay. And so we've got this awesome magic that actually the light arrow magic that we got is like the best magic. So we'll be using that a lot here. I would have liked to use it on the enemies that were on the other platform and sort of get them out of the way before we went on to that, but they didn't. They kind of all moved out of the way. They moved off screen, and so we couldn't do it. So there's a bit of RNG there. You can kind of get this skill shot off and take them out. So we didn't get the best pattern there. All right. So we just need to make sure we don't die here. But since it's pretty safe, since I opened up the portal earlier. So since I already beat those plants there with my fireballs earlier, come here, and whenever you go into that main shrine again, you recover all your HP right away. So we had a little extra walk there. So here's the crocodiles. and they ask you, "Are you really trying to walk over me?" And if you say no, they actually tell you, you wimp. We know you do, so just say it, and they won't let you go across. So you got to say yes. So the founder of this animal village is a dog named Turbo, and Turbo appears in Turbo appears in multiple of these quintet games. And Turbo's the founder of the Greenwood Animal Village. And we went into the dream, opened up a passageway, and then we went in the mole's hole. That mole is also the soul that lets us see in the dark. But I'm a speedrunner, so I'm just gonna do a dark room so that we can avoid a long conversation with him. But we did need to go into that grave and take the leaves from Turbo's bones. And now that we have those leaves, we can actually cross on the rafts here. The rafts won't carry you. Because remember, everything has souls, including these rafts that are apparently made from special wood. And so now that we have the greenwood leaves, we can... So you can see how awesome this magic is. You get a 4-way shot that is strong enough to one-shot most enemies. You do have to get the timing pretty good, but...
Right, because that magic orb's just circling us, so you have to wait till it's in the right lineup spot in order to attack.
Yeah, and the aim can be tricky.
Also, I feel like we skipped over the earlier point that when we went into the dream, the first time we went into a dream, it was of a person. This time we went into the dream of a bird. I'm just not over that. I think that's really cool, but also really unusual. So I want to make sure everyone noticed that detail.
Yeah, we went into a bird dream. You can also go into a stump stream. You can go into a mushroom stream. Yeah. Everything dreams. Everyone has dreams, right? It doesn't matter whether you're a...
Guess? Chat, do donations have dreams? Let me know if your donation has a dream. I'm now very curious.
So for this shrine, the speed run for a really fast run, you really have to kind of keep your health high so that you've got HP to spare for the boss. But I'll take an extra safety here, given how many mistakes I make. I don't know. I did a lot. We've got a lot of stuff going well, but I did exit the shrine early, so we'll this next boss that we're coming up to. Oh, this is the dark room, by the way. So if we had gotten the soul, we would have a kind of like this orb of light around where our soul is, so we'd be able to see things. But I just know how the map works, so we'll just go around that. Okay, so there's 4 of these enemies. That was 2. And so we're almost up to the next boss. Alright, so I'll go in here, get a free health refill. And we've got plenty of gems here. And because I opened up that portal, if I do happen to die on this boss, we'll be able to teleport right there. But I'm gonna try not to. But this is the hardest boss fight in the run. All right. And I did it without getting hit.
Yay!
So-
Very well done.
It's all about positioning yourself relative to the enemies. So you need to get into certain positions and move in certain ways. And if you move just a little bit out of the way, you can completely get off pattern. And those heads, if the heads start rolling over you, they can kill you in just a few hits because we're not wearing armor right now. Because we're speedrunners and we don't wear armor until it helps. Well, okay, we are going to get some armor in just a little bit here. We'll actually be wearing armor then. So we released the Guardian of the Woods. Like, each area has sort of like a leader that we release, and the leader will give us a stone. And so every time we release one of them, we beat the boss. Oh, I actually just had to save. We don't need to save, but we do need to continue. Okay. Now every armor has a special bonus. And the first armor doesn't have actually, except for the first armor. But after that, every armor has a bonus. In the second, if you're just learning the speed run, it is actually a good idea to pick up the armor in that area. It's called the ice armor, and you get the bonus where you can go over the heated tiles without taking damage, which is real nice. I'll beat that guy. Oh. So we're going to use our magic here to nail these guys, because those rocks, if we try and beat those rocks with our sword, they're actually really tanky. And they take a bunch of hits. But if we use our magic, they totally die. So the magic is so awesome. And we can actually position our soul by pushing against walls. So if we push against a wall, our soul will move to the right. So if I'm pushing right against the wall, it moves right. If I'm pushing against a wall diagonally, our soul will move diagonal if we're facing right. Oh, yes. My Twitch is TheAxeMan 301. Hopefully it's on the R. I think it's !R for the command. Hopefully it's, yeah. Okay, so that first area, this is the sea. The sea is awesome. That first area was called South Erta. The next island, well, next we're gonna get, so we released this mermaid who gives us the bubble armor. The bubble armor lets us breathe underwater. But I'm not gonna equip it just yet because we're gonna take another death warp. And we're gonna go back here. This is sort of a back entrance to South Erta. We beat all these monkeys. And if we get some extra gems, we can use our magic to get a little extra DPS. And because we took a bunch of damage, we were able to, we got our HP all the way down to 1. And now we can die in one hit from this bubble. The fish's bubble kills us. Those fish bubbles are actually, like, hurt you pretty bad. You have to be careful. Ah, yes, thank you. Thanks for the follow. So there are 4 statues in the sea. Each time we get one of these statues and talk to it, it releases one of these barriers. And we're gonna do this and this. So I'm gonna pre-equip an item again. All right. Okay, so there's 8 of these guys. That's 2. So underwater we have a lot of interesting and annoying enemies. These jellyfish are one of the more annoying enemies. Oh, no, one more. Try and count them out, but it's hard to count to 8.
They're so speedy too.
Yeah, and all of the enemies have invulnerability when they first spawn. So they first spawn, they have iframes. And so not only are those jellyfish like jetting around, but they're also invincible. So I'm going to spawn one of those birds and let it come in here, because we're gonna get an extra little safety here. So this island is called Rockbird. I guess they call it a shore reef, so it's kind of got this rocky look. Now we're wearing armor now. We needed the bubble armor. The bubble armor also gives us extra defense in addition to letting us breathe underwater. So we are going to be wearing armor for the rest of the run. At least, well, not every time, not the entire run, but for most of it.
I feel so bad for the fish when we drain these water pools out and they just kind of they're there.
But they're shooting these bubbles at us. They're bad fish.
You used one of those earlier to death warp. I don't know. They kind of seem like they're working with you on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna use whatever we can to get our death warps.
They are officially antagonists, though. Won't argue with you too much on that one. But they're kind of adorable, like a little bit. Kind of see it.
So we let our, again, we're gonna take another warp here, and so we let our HP go all the way down to 1. There's actually like a trick that only TaskBot can do, where you actually die, and while you're dying, on top of the enemy layer, if the enemy layer pops open while you're sort of like spinning in your death animation, you get revived, and you can be revived after that. Okay, so our next island is the volcanic island Durian. And so there's gonna be a volcano here. We have to beat more of these jellyfish to open our path here. And we're gonna get a level up so we're gonna need our HP in order to cross the lava. And we need our gems too, so we need to beat these guys. We need to take their gems. Ooh. Okay. Good gems. Good jellyfish. Yeah, if I didn't have to take like a 1-minute walk out there, this would have been a pretty good run so far.
Honestly, it's still a pretty good run so far. I think this has been really entertaining. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
So my PB is about, what is it? It's now 137, and the world record is like 134. And I think for the safeties that I'm probably going to take for this, it's going to be, if I'm lucky, we'll get right around 140. Okay, so this volcano, we've got lava raining on us, and it just sort of falls randomly. and we don't know where it's gonna. So it could land on us. That would be annoying. So I picked up a medical herb because we're also gonna need to go on the lava, and we're gonna take a lot of damage when we do it. And so in order to kind of like mitigate any bad luck we get from, you know, the volcano erupting on us like that, and we're gonna we got a medical herb that's gonna give us some extra HP.
I like how in most games you would think of the ocean underwater area and the volcano area as completely separate. And this game was like, no, actually volcanoes do show up in the middle of the ocean. Let's do this.
That's right, yeah, we're gonna... We've got a volcano here. So I'm going to showcase a strat here that was just recently found out by a German runner goes by Namefaker. And normally we would stop there and beat those guys with our magic. We're going to actually go on here. Now I've got pretty good gems. We did get lucky with the gems. I'm going to need to use the safety on my... But we're gonna beat these guys here. Okay, and we get this layer, we get that layer, and that layer in the lava that we opened up, we're gonna need to hit that, and you can see it's in the middle of the lava. Now there's actually a thing you can do where you stop the volcano from erupting and the lava all cools off. But that would take extra time. We don't want to get that item. So instead we just tank our damage on that lava.
I love how the game gives us ways to accomplish all these different things. And we're like, but what if we just didn't do that?
That's right, yeah. So it's sort of a sequence break. We can just walk on the lava and avoid having to do this thing. So you can, it's called the Mermaid Tears. And so you get the Mermaid Tears, you put it on the top of the volcano, and you're actually able to get the volcano to stop erupting, and the lava all cools off, so you can go on it. There's also an extra, another sword power-up. So remember, we haven't gotten another sword yet. We're still using the initial sword that we got in the beginning of the game. And that's gonna make do for a while here. Okay, so something else about Dr. Leo. Dr. Leo had a pet dolphin. Lou the Dolphin here is just saying he lived with Dr. Leo. So Dr. Leo, artist, inventor, father, and exotic pet fancier. Now, I'm not sure exactly how you take care of a pet dolphin. Like, I think they need a lot of room, but somehow Dr. Leo made it work. You know, Turbo, the dog that we saw earlier, he was Dr. Leo's pet as well. But, you know, dog, okay, that's you know, pretty common pet here. But yeah. Not sure how Dr. Leo pulled that off, but...
I mean, we have bubble armor. Maybe there's a dolphin equivalent for living above the water? Who knows?
Maybe that's how he does it. Okay, so this next island is the Stormy Island Lester. And in order to get there, we've got to go across the sea here. We've got to beat these hermit crabs. The hermit crabs move randomly, and they're invincible when they go into their shell. So we've got to try and get them there. And then even then, they're pretty tanky. I remember to pick it up. Now, I had equipped it earlier, but then I had to switch to the medical herb to take the safety, and so I needed to switch back. But we're gonna take some extra damage here. And we're gonna get these metal, so these are metal monkeys. We can't hurt them. But we can leave them here and let them blow up on this. Yeah, we got the Thunder Ring from Lou. That was why we needed to release a whole bunch of people in order to kind of get to him. Now we're going to take our armor off so we can take another warp here. But that statue was all we needed from that area. We just needed to go up there, get that statue. So you can see like all these layers. Some of the layers like reveal a passageway through, and other ones like give you a soul that opens up part of the area. We need some of each of them. And now we're heading to the last area in the ocean. The ocean is the longest area in our run here. Now that we have gone through the Stormy Island, we went through the Volcanic Island and the Shore Reef. Our next area is the Ghost Ship. So we're gonna pick up the Power Bracelet here. In some games, you get a Power Ring, but that wouldn't be enough for Blazer. He wants a Power Bracelet. So that Power Bracelet's going to be awesome. I already equipped it earlier by using the trick where you just move the item in your inventory as long as you get on the right spot. And that it's going to double our damage output. So very nice. Oh, and I got the level up. So yeah, later on we get a sword that you can kill the metal enemies. Back in the Fire Shrine, there were those metal scorpions, and there was also those little kind of things walking around in Leo's painting. You can actually beat those if you have the Zantetsu sword from Act 5. But it's in Act 5, and we're still in 3 here. So there was also and the metal monkeys. All right, and that is boss number 3.
Yay! GG.
So that head, it looked, maybe it looked easy, but it's actually, if I had messed up, like, again, the head can kill me, and the hands, those hands that are sort of floating around, those hands and the head can kill me in just a few hits. So, fairly precise fight. A lot of the bosses are actually easier in the Japanese version. And so there's a few small changes between the Japanese version and this one. The biggest change is actually in the next area, and we'll get to that, because it actually involves a gender swapping. So we revealed the queen here. The queen, this is the only area where they say this thing about the gems, but they said that Lou said the dolphin picked up the jewel, and when the queen looked at it, she got jealous and put him in jail. And the queen says, maybe because of our bad feelings, we let the monsters, our bad feelings are what let the monsters take over. All right, so that was World 3. Now we're up to World 4. World 4 is the mountain. And it's a snowy mountain. But there's the town is kind of like this cave, and the people in the town are these like dwarf type people. And the word is that they only live for like a few years, or 1 year, something like that. And so a lot of them are kids. Some of them are kids, and some of them are like old people. This mountain is also awesome. We're going up here, and some interesting. Oh, down here. Okay. We get our gems. We get another medical herb, and we get the magic armor. Wait, no. Okay, armor, magic armor. Don't unequip that. So the magic armor, the magic armor's bonus is that we use half the amount of gems. So instead of 8 gems, we use just 4. So yeah, all of the souls of the people in the world have been trapped in these monster layers. And now we can use our gems, our magic, for half the amount of gems, which is real nice because we're gonna use our magic a lot in this act.
While we're climbing up this mountain, I just want to remind everyone that we are raising money for the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is the leading national organization providing crisis intervention and suicide prevention services to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth. You can check them out at www.thetrevorproject.org to access their services, find out more about their impact, or to donate. And hey, if you're here, !donate in the chat also gets you that link, and of course, a way to donate towards any of our wonderful incentives. Just want to do that quick shout out, remind everyone that we're raising money for a fantastic cause. So if you have $5 to spare, maybe you managed to find one in between the couch cushions, please make sure to use !donate and head to that link.
Okay, so this time I really did want to go back, and I did. So because we needed to go back and get these mushroom shoes from this boy that we released.
I love the plot twist that we actually wanted to go back this time. This is a development I didn't see coming.
Yeah, we needed to go back, get those mushroom shoes, and now in that part where I was kind of doing some ice capades, sliding along the ice, now we'll be able to walk on that ice normally with our mushroom shoes. And just sort of break it up. So we had a bunch of spots there where we can we got all our chests here. That last chest doesn't have anything, so we skipped that one. We revealed this layer, and I sort of like walked by that layer because we were able to come back later and get it. Okay, so we walk across the ice, and now we go back to our power bracelet because our power bracelet is awesome, and we want to be able to slash these things. So this area is called, this area is the Ice Hill. Our next section is Lanel, which is one of the more annoying parts in the run because we've got a lot of like really annoying enemies. These like little bouncy blobs aren't actually that bad. It's these wizards up ahead that were really... Okay, it was it. Oh, that's right. So there's a mode, I don't know if it's actually using the mode 7 or anything, but there's a, see the icicles up there? That's a nice little graphical touch.
So I remember you saying these bats are kind of annoying to work with.
Yeah, these bats are pretty annoying. So the bats, they come out of their lair and they start circling around you, which is kind of an annoying pattern given that our magic, so they circle around far enough that you can't hit them with your sword. And then also they're not our magic shoots in straight directions, so we don't have magic that goes like right next to us. Oh, luckily I'm doing real well on gems, so we've got a lot of extra gems to kind of like if I miss some shots here. We've got a pretty good buffer. Sometimes you're sort of like barely holding on your gems. And remember, we do get to use half the amount of gems because we got that magic armor. And we're getting these big gems, it's great. So remember, the little gems are worth 1, and the big gems are worth 10. So it's like a huge, we're like really living on these big gems. So we're finally gonna pick up another sword, and that sword is the Lucky Blade. The Lucky Blade, it has the bonus that the enemies have a higher chance to drop big gems. And that's real nice because we need gems to beat these wizards. If we get too close to these wizards, they start teleporting, and they're invincible when they teleport. And then they teleport somewhere and shoot at us. So we want to beat them. We want to not get too close and just shoot them with our magic before we get too close. And yes, the Lucky Blade is required 100% to get on. If you don't have the Lucky Blade, you actually won't be allowed to continue on past into the next area. We still need a couple more things here, so... Alright. Beat those bats. Get that lair.
While we're fighting these bats, we're over halfway on that Hidden Songs incentive for Citus Alpha coming up later. That again is going to be some bonus songs on a rhythm game, so you know those are going to be the best ones in the showcase if we can make it happen. We're at $160 out of a needed $300. Again, when you donate, just make sure you pick that incentive, put your dollars towards that, and we can make it happen. I'm really excited to see more songs in any rhythm showcase ever, so this one's going to be fantastic.
All right, and there is our entrance to the next area. And so that grandpa, if we don't have our Lucky Blade, he won't let you through. But since we do, we can just go right through here, head up here. This is going to be our next area. So we're doing pretty good on gems here. So this area is called Loon. I guess it's an underground lake. And we've got more of these wizards. I'm gonna do a trick here where we spawn in more than one enemy at... Since I've got enough gems, if we don't have enough gems, then, you know, I kind of get antsy about not using them, but yeah, so if you push against a wall, you can make your spirit orb move further away. Another trick is if you slash your sword rapidly and hold down a direction, you can make your orb, you'll kind of like, slashing your sword rapidly will kind of lock you in place. All right, and this is the boss I was talking about. Now, in the Japanese version, this boss was not Poseidon, it was Medusa. And Medusa was wearing just about as much clothing as Poseidon is here. And so they decided not to let that happen in the American version. So they covered up. They switched instead of covering her up, they switched from Medusa to Poseidon. And so that is the boss of boss number 4. Now, this area is a little different. The king here, we don't actually need to talk to the king right away. We will talk to him later. But he's not the one who has our stone for us. But we do need to release him in order to get the stone. But before we move on to the next area, there is a couple more things we have to do. We need to reveal the dancing grandmas. They are very important grandmas.
Very important indeed. We won't get to see them dance yet, but chat, when we get back to here in like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, make sure you got your dancing emotes picked out and ready to go. I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen this game before, I don't know if that's what you knew you were getting into when you started watching this tonight, but very few video games can claim to have this level of dancing grandma in them, so definitely in for a treat.
And these bats are super annoying, going all around. We're gonna take a death warp after this, so that's why I'm getting my HP down. So that's one grandma, and then this one's gonna have the other one. But in order to, in order to get these layers to show up, we had to go the other ones around. So all these, and we don't want to have to like come back here and release them. So we get our grandmas up now, and now we get our that's our warp back. Okay, so now we're kind of done with part 4. And we will talk to, so we don't talk to the king. Instead, we're going to talk to another one of Leo's pets. And Leo's pet here, his name is Gnome, and he is a snail. Apparently a giant, I mean, look at the size of him. That's a big snail. So Leo's pet menagerie apparently included a dolphin, a dog, and a snail.
Not gonna lie, the first time I saw this, I thought it was just someone with a really cool yellow hat. I did not realize it was a snail at first. Snail makes a lot more sense.
Maybe it's secretly, And the other thing special about this snail, the snail says that Dr. Leo gave gave his pets a stone and told them to run. So apparently the snail was able to run and escape from the knights the soldiers that were trying to, kidnap Dr. Leo. So it must be a fairly fast snail because he was able to, run away from these soldiers.
It could also be some very unaware soldiers. Like if I was a soldier and I was like, okay, where do I think these stones went? And I saw a snail, that probably wouldn't be my first guess.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Chat, feel free to send in your theories on how the snail managed to escape the layer.
So I said that we would have armor for the rest of the run, but I unequipped my armor to take that last warp, and now I haven't equipped it just yet, so... And the reason was just so that we've got a new sword. Oh, weapon. Yes. Armor on. So we're going to equip our armor again. But we also equipped our new weapon, and our new weapon is called the Zantetsu Sword, which means metal slashing.
I don't know if we mentioned yet, but we are, I believe, in the laboratory now?
That's right, yeah, we're in Dr. Leo's lab. And this is his laboratory basement. And I need to be careful about my age. This is kind of one of the harder areas for the speed run.
And it looks like you're not slashing the sword anymore. Do you want to explain why?
Oh, that's right. The reason is because we every time you so for every sword there's a level requirement, and actually this was the case with our other sword too, the Lucky Blade. And if you don't meet the level requirement, you can't swing your sword, but you can hold the L or R buttons and you can hold your sword out and poke with it. And so instead of, we can't swing our sword, but we can hold it out and poke with it, and that's enough to damage the enemies.
That said, just because it can damage them doesn't mean it's easy to do. You definitely lose a lot of control on this, and I believe you said these mice enemies are just very...
Yeah. So look how fast they're moving. Yeah, like if they run away, they're gonna get away, and they keep following the wall. And so if they get away, it's bad. And only the Zantetsu sword can hurt them. And so we have to equip this sword that we can't swing. And we just have to kind of like get them at the right place in order to hurt them with this sword that we're just kind of holding out and poking them with. So I'm going to use that medical herb now. And we need that. This is where the ice armor really helps if you take that safety, which we did not. And
Just
we're going to do some other
meme,
tricks here.
So I'm thinking of the meme where it's like, this is where I'd use my ice armor, if I had any.
Yeah. So we beat those guys up there with our magic. And those guys are kind of like a lot easier if you can actually slash them, but we can't. So those guys we can hit with our magic. These like bulldozer things we can't hurt with our magic. Okay, be careful here. Okay, now we got our level up. That's good. Dying here is real bad. And yeah, the soundtrack of this is just banging. The soundtrack for this game in general is just so awesome. It's one of the highlights. Okay, so now we got our next area, and we are good to go. And every time that we take one of these warps and we get revived here, we give up all of our gems. So that's kind of your cost to do this death warp. All right, we're gonna switch back to our Lucky Blade. And the reason why we're switching back to Lucky Blade, the next area, the enemies are not metal. And since we're on level 15, we can swing our Lucky Blade. We need one more level. We need 16 in order to swing the Zantetsu sword. So this is Dr. Leo's model towns.
You talked earlier about him being a Renaissance man. I didn't know like miniature scale models of the town was also on the list of skills.
That's right, yeah. Mini model towns. This is his bedroom, I think. So he's got these, or I guess his living room, or his kind of upstairs area. You can see if you release some more things, you get his bed. But so I think we're like either in his bedroom or kind of just outside it. But this upstairs room has these model towns and some other things.
Yeah, my bedroom is feeling suddenly very underdecorated compared to this.
Yeah, I am not as cool as Dr. Leo. But, you know, it's not so great to be Dr. Leo since, you know, he was kidnapped and his family was threatened and everything. So he was forced to use his incredible genius to make a machine to summon a demon.
Yeah, you know, that's a great point. I'm suddenly feeling pretty good about where I'm at in life right now.
So, again, these tricks were one of our basic strat here. There's a few enemy layers we need to take out, so we're gonna beat all of the enemies kind of and they come out one at a time, or they come out kind of at a slow rate, and so we wanna beat all of them before we step on a layer that releases something. We want to beat all the enemies and get those other layers to kind of like pop, and then they'll stay in that state. If we were to leave one enemy alive, then that entire layer would reset and we'd have to beat all of them again. Oh, and there's invisible enemies here. So if you don't know where the enemies are, well, good luck. But there is a soul that you can get where you'll get a kind of a viewfinder that will show where the invisible enemies are. And we're going to take a warp here where we're not even going to unequip our armor because these enemies hit so hard. All right. Now we're finally up to the last area in Act 5 here. This is the power plant. And we get the same kind of decor.
Just have to ask, the stairs that we went through, we released them. Does that mean that the stairs canonically have a soul in this game?
I guess. But so the stairs don't actually talk. You know, the doors talk, but the stairs don't. But I'm guessing the stairs, yeah, like most of the things that you release actually talk to you, but the stairs don't. So here's another place where it'd be real nice to have the ice armor. So if you do take up this speed run, it's actually there's a lot of safeties you can add in that make the initial learning the speed run not a lot easier than you might think. I'm doing this as a fairly high level here. I'm taking a lot of advanced strats, but at a lower level, like, it's not that hard to run. And this game in general is actually casually is pretty easy. Shoot. Oh no, I took a death. Okay, we're gonna have to go back through this area.
That's okay. Just showing off again, you know, got to tour the area, see more of the lab. We put so much work into decorating it. You kind of want everyone to be able to appreciate it, right?
That's right, yeah. Someone explains that on the, so if you look down there, you see all these parts and all these machines, and the explanation is that those, that machinery is what was used to summon the demon. If you, I started doing so because it's such a big time savings to do this boss first and then take a warp afterwards. there's actually a one of those warp points that you can open up by this boss, and I've been practicing. But there's kind of like a trick here where you can kind of go up and down and get this guy to... The other trick is to not move left or right. If you stay in kind of like one column, the boss only moves up and down. And this boss is named Tyndall. So Tyndall only moves up and down, but it does shoot fire at you. And so if you move kind of like in a certain way, you'll avoid the fire. But it's kind of tricky. And I had fairly low HP, and I wasn't avoiding the fire, and usually you can take 2 hits, and I can kind of like look and say, oh, if I take 1 hit, then I need to kind of like be careful and go to the safe strats where I'm moving up and down further. But
yeah, fairly low is an understatement. You had 1 bar there. I was holding my breath that entire boss fight. Very well done.
Thanks. All right, so that was the boss. We released Marie the doll. So in the house here, we don't get even like an animal. We get a doll, and apparently the doll can talk. And because the doors and the chest of drawers, they have souls, and so does the doll. So the doll had the stone for us, but we had to go all the way up to the attic to talk to her. Now we got to go all the way back down. So a little bit of a walk here, and then we'll finally be at the castle, which is kind of like our last normal area. Now, since taking a death can put you off of your gems when you expect to have gems, but in this case, I was planning to take a warp after that boss anyway, so I'm not off schedule at all. So this is the castle. All right, so everyone can see TaskBot next to me. And so you've got to guess that if there's a situation where I can use some glitches, we're going to do it. So we're going to do some glitches here. Now remember how we said you can't swing the sword when you're on a high enough level? There's a way around it. So if you swing one sword and then switch to another sword, you can actually sort of swing it.
And that's because we got a new sword that's even higher level requirement this time?
Yes, so we've just picked up the Spirit Sword, and the Spirit Sword has a level requirement of 19.
Trying to do my quick math. I think that means we're 3 levels off, so it sounds like it'll be a little bit before you make that happen.
That's right, yeah. But the enemies in this area give a lot of experience, so it'll happen sooner than... It won't take too much longer before it'll happen.
Ah, all right. Oh yeah, we're already at 17 now.
Yeah,
wow.
We're already at 17 now, yeah. And we released this harpist who says that he wants to play, but he's missing a string on his harp. And we actually just picked up a string.
Whoa, would you believe that? That's so convenient.
So we've got these ghosts here that count as spirit enemies. They can only be hurt by the Spirit Sword. In the Japanese version, the Spirit Sword is called the Yomi Sword. And Yomi is kind of like a Shinto underworld. Oh, shoot. Let this guy get away. So if you do it right, these pinballs are not too hard to beat with your sword. You have to kind of like be in the right position, and you don't want to be in the right position too early because they'll have that that invincibility for when they spawn. And doing this is going to make it easier later on because I'll have more gems to use in the areas later on.
Shoutouts to Zachary at Pinball, by the way, coming up later tonight or later today, whatever your time zone may be.
So yeah, we get some interesting enemies here.
Do you have a favorite enemy in the game?
Ghosts.
Do you have a favorite or least favorite enemy in the game?
Favorite enemy?
Yeah.
What do I like? I like the soldiers that will get. Okay, I actually wanted to take some damage here. What do I like? The pinballs are interesting. I like the chest knights. The chest knights are actually pretty annoying to fight, but they're neat. We'll see them in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use a strange bottle. Unequip our armor. Now the strange bottle has the effect that when we're going to take another warp here, and we're not going to lose our gems. Instead, we lose the strange bottle that we had equipped. So that strange bottle sort of like takes the fall on our gems. We're going to take our this harp string that we found, and we're going to give the harp string to this singer here. Very important. Promise to use it carefully. So sometimes I hit the Y button to mash text, but if you hit the Y button, it also means no. And so if you tell this guy no, then if you tell this guy no, he says, oh, this string, I guess that string seems important to you. I won't, but we need to give him the string. And this soldier decides he's going to move up. And then we get this song. This song is actually played only here and in the ending. I'm not sure how much time we have to watch the ending. But the ending is really beautiful, and you get this really beautiful song. And the title of the song is Night Without a Lover. So here's the chest knights. We need to be careful about, actually in general, like this area is pretty dangerous. We're going to take a lot of damage, but we're going to save a lot of time by using our magic and nailing things. Oh, and I actually took out that knight. Don't always get that guy with our magic. So we're having a really good tower here. Oh. Still a good tower. So these guys are throwing boomerangs. The boomerangs do a ton of damage. So we don't want to get hit by them. Ah, welcome. So there's two towers. We did the basement, and now we're in the left tower, which is called because, well, it's on the left side. And we release Dr. Leo here first. The reason is because if we release one of the other we get more dialogue by releasing things in a certain order, we avoid some dialogue. Another example of that was the dancing grandmas and the king on the mountain. If we would have released the king first, or no, we did release the king. If we released the dancing grandmas first and then the king, we would have gotten some extra dialogue. So by releasing things in a certain order, we can get some dialogue out. And because the text is so slow in this version, it actually saves some time to avoid that dialogue. Okay, here's another case where, yes, we do want to go back. Okay, now this next part, in order to get the item we need to talk to the queen. We don't need to give her anything, but we need to answer a question. Do you think I'm pretty? You have to say yes, of course. And she put something in our pocket. So I just want to paint a picture here. We're talking to a lady in private, and she slipped something into our pocket. She slipped a key card into our pocket. So you can think a little bit about what sort of scene this is happening here, and what sort of lady the queen is. In fact, in the Japanese version, the queen her title is more like empress. So it's kind of, she's like the primary wife, not like, a ruling queen.
While we're going through here, I do have a $5 donation that came in from Anonymous. They say, "This is such a cool game. Thanks for showing it off." Well, thank you for donating.
You.
Really appreciate it.
So this is the right tower. And we needed that first layer. Takes a while because we've got to take out 4 layers, go all the way around, then take out that last layer in the middle. Bit of a hassle, but in the end we get all the way through here. And we need to beat all these guys, get up here, and I was running low on gems, so I wasn't able to kind of use the fastest strategies here. So we've got a bit of a cutscene here that's going to be a plot dump. Because we finally met up with Leo. This is Dr. Leo, after going through all this. And yeah, it's interesting they call him Dr. Leo. The Japanese word they use is Hakase, which is more like professor. If you ever watched that one anime where the little girl's the professor, like that's the same word. So yeah, it's Professor Leo. So we've also got the queen here. So we've got kind of all the main characters. We got Dr. Leo, we got the queen. Dr. Leo realized he kind of maybe shouldn't have summoned a demon and sell everyone's souls. And so he's gonna use the power of something about the machine, got the power from the stones, and the stones are going to take us to the world of evil so we can beat Death Toll and free everyone. But the queen's coming by, and the queen kidnapped Lisa. Remember Lisa from the first area? And, well, Dr. Leo says, let Lisa go. And the queen's gonna let Lisa go. The queen's threat was actually like, you gotta still help us. And we're not really sure what the queen wants from Dr. Leo at this point. Like, he's already created a machine to summon a demon, and they sold everyone's souls. So we're not really sure what he wants from Leo, but Leo's not gonna have any of it. Luckily Lisa stood back far enough that, she doesn't get caught up in this blast. Alright, so this next boss, this is the Jerky Demon Bird, and I want you to count how many times the bird dives. So that's 1. Every time he dives, it's kind of like we can't do any damage. We need him to do this attack in order to get some damage in. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. All right. Now we can beat him. So there's Dr. Leo. Or, well, this is the king, King McGrid. So we got Dr. Leo earlier. Now we got King McGrid. The queen and the king, you know, he's upset that the queen died, but
Yeah, that was a lot of plot in a very short amount of time. I think we're all caught up now.
That's right. So the last thing, you know, we kind of left Dr. Leo and Lisa there. But if you actually go up to them afterwards, like you can get Dr. Leo's last words. But we sort of skipped out on that. But Lisa still thanks us for being with her while her dad died. So we kind of skipped out on that. But I kind of think she's supposed to be like she's sort of supposed to be like a tsundere heroine. And so she doesn't want us, she's gonna like turn around when she, you know, because before she was kind of like, get out of my house, you know, and now she's kind of like making that tsundere turn where she's gonna say, but then
to be fair, after she told us to get out of the house, she asked us to come back, and we just pieced out. We just left her there. This poor girl who woke up from this traumatic dream. She's like, nah.
I mean, we're on a mission from God, or I mean, the Master, and so you know we can't just come back and listen to your story. So the king says, you know, it's just because he thought he would impress the queen. That's why he made Dr. Leo build this machine and sold everyone's souls for 1 gold piece per soul. That was what he got, and we're not even sure what he wanted to do with it. Like, it didn't say why he wanted all that money. Because I mean, you sold everyone's souls and you've got all this gold, but you know, what are you gonna do with it when you know, he's the king, but there's no people in his country. So you know, what's the point of having all this money? Oh, and I should point out, on the spot where the queen was standing was the invulnerable bracelet, which is also called the super bracelet. I think that when they translated this, they actually they had different people translating the items and the text, and so like the text that says you got something was translated by a different person than like the item name itself. So it says you got the invulnerable bracelet, but it's actually the super bracelet if you look in your inventory. So this is the world of evil, also known as the LSD world, because it is pretty freaky looking.
Yeah,
and
well, we're just kind of walking in space. Sorry.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do in this world?
This world, well, we gotta go beat Death Toll. This is where he lives, but unfortunately, Death Toll is protected by some his castle just isn't there yet. So we need to do some things to release his castle. But before then, we really just have to kind of like walk through this area.
While we're just walking through, then I want to remind everyone again that we're raising money for the Trevor Project. And if you're wondering, like, why the Trevor Project? Why are they there? What do they do? Well, a majority of youth choose to contact the Trevor Project rather than other providers because the organization is LGBTQ affirming, or a trusted provider of crisis services. And this is based on a USC study in 2017. So this is backed by data here. 90% of young people who reach out to Trevor experience de-escalation from suicidal thoughts, and one supportive person can decrease an LGBTQ youth's risk of suicide by 30%. One person. The Trevor Project aims to always be there for LGBTQ youth in crisis with a clear message: they should be proud of who they are and that they are not alone. So every donation here is not only help us unlock really cool incentives for all of our speedruns today and tomorrow, but it's making such a difference in the lives of individual people who are struggling and really need that help. So thank you again, everyone, for raising over $4,000 so far, and thanks for your continued support.
Okay, so we've got the walls here, and we need to get this level requirement. The level requirement here, we need to collect a bunch of things. We collected the soul blade and the soul armor as we walk through here, and in order to do the final attack that actually beats the final boss, we're going to need to be able to swing the soul blade. It's the strongest sword with the highest level requirement. The level requirement is 24, and in order to get to level 24, we need 420,000 experience. So you could say that when we need to grind for that, it is 420 time. But we're actually going to stop a little short because we're going to get some more experience as we walk back through here. And we actually have a couple more tasks here. Before we go on to, before we're actually able to take on the final boss, we're going to have to pick up the 3 red hot items that the master told us about here. Here's the first one, the red hot ball. Now these red hot items, there's actually, so I mentioned earlier, there's actually more Shinto influence in this game than you might think. The red hot items are actually a reference to the imperial regalia of Japan, which is, of course, goes into Shinto mythology. And so the Japanese imperial regalia it's like a sword, a gem, and a mirror. And we get the red hot staff, the red hot ball, and the red hot mirror. No, they call it the red hot stick. And yeah, I gotta watch out for the there's a certain bird, and the bird, if you mess up how you approach the bird, then the bird runs away, and it added like 10 seconds on my PB run.
No, that's so rude of it.
And I accidentally forgot to equip my blade here for a little bit. Oh no, we leveled. Okay, it was kind of this was like an unfortunate time to level up. And you normally rarely, like, I don't think I've ever gotten a level up on those guys before. I just happened to be at like just the right spot because we need to take another warp here. So now we're gonna need to. Because I was intentionally like not equipping the armor, and trying to take damage so that I could take the warp, and then we got the level up there.
And the level up heals us back to full, and that's why you didn't.
That's right. Yeah, the level up. Yeah, you get a full health refill on level up, which isn't so good when you want to take a warp right afterwards and lose all your health.
Also, how did we get this much health? We did not have this much at the start of the game.
Yeah, every time we've gotten a level up, our bar has gotten a little bit bigger. And as eventually it got too long, and it just sort of switches colors.
Is there a maximum level in the game?
I'm not sure how much. You might need like 9999. I'm not sure how many it is, but like you don't need to get that high. You only need 24.
Got it.
But yeah, if you really want to go for it, I think it's level 50, and remember that spot where I was grinding? That's like the best spot for grinding. And so you can just keep grinding that if you want and go all the way up to 50 if you want, but you don't really need any higher than 20 or 24. As you'll see, like the final boss fight is fairly comfortable. Well, okay, so we have the super bracelet, which really helps. So if you don't have the super bracelet, then, you know, I can see how. But we needed, so we needed the spirit sword to beat these guys, but the soul blade also hurts them. Yeah, I'm not sure how exciting of a task it would be to have a max level.
Shouts to Chatspot, who's just been enjoying this entire run, looking adorable.
That's right,
the
he's
entire
just chilling
time.
right here, enjoying Soul Blazer. He's joined me for the Soul Blazer runs at quite a few events now. I think he's used to it. Oh no, with the stupid bird again, what happened? Oh.
No,
I guess I didn't talk to the bird fast enough. Bird, and if you don't like talk to him right away, he flies off. But he gives us the red hot mirror, which is our last red hot item. So my other translation note here is that the red hot items in Japanese, the word they use is shakunetsu, which is like this really cool word that means burning. It usually gets translated as burning, but for some reason they just called it red hot. And
Does that mean it's time for the best part of this game?
That's right.
Chat, get your dancing emotes ready.
Time for dancing grandmas. First, we gotta talk to the king, because we didn't talk to him before. We sort of just went on. So he's gonna tell us this, he's gonna give us this lore dump about the Phoenix and the red hot items. But we actually do have them all, so we're gonna go call it. I'm gonna get a little stretch here while we're... So this is just about the end of the run here. Because when we get the Phoenix, get our dancing grandmas here, the beautiful voice of the Phoenix rings out and tells us that he will help us and reveal Death Toll's palace here. So in that final area, now we can actually go to Death Toll's palace.
Just shouts again to how intently those grandmas take their dancing. They were spinning like a whirlwind on that.
Oh yeah. And so now we're up to the final battle. We just need to go. We've got that last warp point in the World of Evil, so we just need to warp in there and finish Death Toll off. So we're just about to finish this up here.
Is there anything we should know about the final boss fight in advance?
So this boss fight, his name is Death Toll, and well, his first phase is kind of a joke, but then when his last phase, there's a bit of RNG. We're gonna have to use the Phoenix spell that we just picked up. The Phoenix spell works differently from all the other spells. Instead of coming out of our orb, it comes right out of our sword. And it comes out when we slash our sword, which is why we needed to get the level up. Yeah, it just blew it off there. But we need to get the orbs, which will come from these flames. We're going to be moving around and getting these flames. And then the flames will give us some orbs to use, which is nice. The other thing is that there's a lot of lag in this fight. And so it's good to kind of get on a pattern where see those little laser beams? Those laser beams, if the laser beams and his fireballs are on the screen at the same time, it's really laggy. So we want to try and make it so that we don't have both of those on at the same time. The other issue is that those flames, if those flames are appearing like on different sides of the screen and I have to like go back and forth, it adds a little extra time. Like that, really, that's actually, yeah. And the hitbox for his head and our Phoenix are huge. So like, I don't have to be like right in front of him or anything.
And time's gonna be coming up pretty soon as well.
That's right, yeah. So when he starts blowing up, it'll be time. It takes 12 or 13 cycles. It always takes 13 for me. Maybe 14. I haven't been. But having that, the super bracelet really helps here. If you don't have a super bracelet, you either need to like use a medical herb, and that's time.
Yay, GG!
So if we got extra time, we can watch some of the credits, but the ending's kind of long, but it's good. We kind of go all around the world. The spirit that's following us, our magician spirit, is explaining that he's going to stay and seal off the world of evil while we go off and say goodbye to everyone. I guess, well, since we're the master's disciple or apprentice, like we have to go on, and I don't know if we're supposed to like take on the master's job or something, but...
Well, we do have enough time to watch the credits if you'd like to talk us through that while you're doing shoutouts.
Yeah, sure. I've got to shout out everyone in the TaskBot community, and especially Dwango, the keeper of TaskBot, for letting me borrow TaskBot and having TaskBot join us. This was, it's always special to have TaskBot here. I'm not sure how, he gave me some good luck. I think that all the mistakes were mine, and I had a lot of, TaskBot did give me a lot of good luck. Also shout outs to the Soul Blazer randomizer community. So if you go to randoblazer.com, that is our Soul Blazer randomizer. And I recently actually got that domain and started and set that up there. So I'm under estimate. Awesome. Actually, I didn't start my timer. What did I finish at?
The final time on stream is a 1:43:45. Oh,
nice. Okay. That's pretty good for having a couple deaths and going accidentally picking and picking
going back right at the beginning.
Going back when I shouldn't
really
have, and having to like walk through the shrines. Yeah. So yeah, the ending has us going through all this. In the randomizer, the randomizer like randomizes where all of the releases are, so you could, and they can switch worlds too. So like King Magrid could come out in the first world, but you'll always get you get the world leader to go to the next area. You could end up getting the Soul Blade early and being able to slaughter everything real fast, but then you won't be able to swing it. You'll only be able to like poke with it. The randomizer is a lot of fun, and we do a weekly seed, and the weekly seed comes out on Friday. So if you're interested in joining the randomizer, randoblazer.com, and you'll get links to our Discord. And so I don't know if anyone from our randomizers is watching, but we had so we have a nice rando community. Our TaskBot community watching. There's a few other speedrunners. Who else watching? The other games I run, I do Crystalis and the Crystalis randomizer, and we've got a tournament coming up on Speed Gaming. So yeah, watch out for that. And so yeah, I'm also I am not the task author for Soul Blazer. LaHulk, is also who is the world record speedrunner, is also the task author, which is pretty impressive. And yeah, thank you. I did the task for Crystalis, and I also do the Crystalis randomizer, which is a lot of fun. Crystalis is an NES game, also an action RPG, and it's like one of the later NES games. It's really complicated, actually a lot of fun. If you're interested in speedrunning this game, there's some tutorials you can get started with. And like I said, there's a lot of safeties you can take to kind of get into it. If you take the, if you start out with getting the ice armor, then it's a lot easier to get into. I don't realize anybody updated. Yeah, I do need to. So it's been a few years now since I finished that Crystallis task, and there's a lot of glitches that have come up. Crystallis is actually a very glitchy game. But I got tired of the glitches, and my latest Crystallis project has been doing the Crystallis run, a glitchless run, and so that one's a lot of fun. I did that at the Speed Gaming marathon. Yeah. So it's ending. We go between all the worlds. All the leaders are saying hi. We meet up with all of Dr. Leo's exotic pets here. Of course, Dr. Leo blew himself up, so we're not going to see him. But Lala and Lou, the dolphin, are here. So other categories on this game, there's also an any percent there's also a 100% category. The 100% category for this game, you release all of the monster layers. So you beat all the monster layers, you open them all up. You don't have to pick up all the items. You only have to pick up the unique items. And in fact, most of the items are actually consumables or like extra gems. Like you get just extra gems in a chest. And so you don't need to pick those up. But and the randomizer also, so because of in the Soul Blazer randomizer, you may not have to get the check here where you do the dream. So you may not have to release Turbo the dog. And in fact, if you don't release Turbo the dog, you actually get a soft lock here in the credits in the randomizer. And it's so neat that we just left it. Okay, so here's where the ending actually gets interesting, because we get to Lisa. And Lisa is sleeping, so we're going to go back into her dream. And Lisa explains that she's still all alone because, and now she was alone before because her dad had been kidnapped, but now, she got to see her dad again because of us. So she was happy that, it was because of us, but, well, her dad is now blew himself up. And so unfortunately he won't be around. And she asked before, are you a human like me? And I was kind of mashing the button. So I think we said yes, but it doesn't really matter what you say. But she says, I don't really care whether you're a human or an angel. She still loves us. But, we're the disciple of the master. And apparently it's probably not a good thing for us to fall in love with a mere human. But this is thou must say yes. Like there's only yes here. So will we promise to return? Our answer is yes or yes. But now she wakes up from her dream, and we are not there. Okay, so we're almost to the best part of the ending, where we get our most beautiful song. And here's our song. The title of this song on the soundtrack is "A Night Without a Lover." Grass Valley at sunset, the glistening ocean. I don't think I guess we saw the ocean from the world, but not from Grass Valley. Maybe you can see it if you look from Grass Valley down. The creatures stopped and looked at the beauty of the sunset. One was with his child, his friend, and the creatures were in awe. I think in Japanese, like it says, like someone with their lover, because the song is "A Night Without a Lover." A light ray shot into the sky, which I guess is us, because we're not really sure whether we're an angel or a regular person, but we are like the disciple of the master. And here's Lisa. So here's another graphical change. this version of Lisa, we get a more anime version of Lisa in the Japanese version, which is actually another interesting version of the speed run. And because the text is faster in the Japanese version, it's actually like about 8 minutes faster than this. Lisa used to feel lonely when she saw the sunset, but now she thinks it's beautiful. I guess because someone is watching over there from the sky. Just like her father changed impossible to possible, Lisa feels she'll be happy if she believes. So now we get the actual credits. There's still another scene after this if we've got more time to blow.
I can check in on that. Are there any final shout outs you want to make while this is happening?
I guess I should shout out to my family for like sleeping through this, I guess. But yeah, putting up with all my practice. My son, the Hatchet Boy, and I do a stream every. Usually we stream every Saturday night, and he's been working on. I got him into RPGs over the pandemic, so he's been playing a lot of Switch. He's been, of course, a certain big Switch game that just came out. He's been playing that until he finally finished it. He's 10, so like that's pretty impressive that he was able to like figure all that out. So yeah, everyone for thanks to everyone for and for letting us show up here and for giving Taskbot a chance to show up. I think his eyes are showing up pretty well on my camera here.
His eyes have absolutely been very emotive throughout this entire thing. It's really fun to watch. We are going to get a chance to wait for that final scene to cap off this epic story adventure. So we got a little bit more time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is great. This is because this ending so it's so emotional. All right, NX Quintet, based upon Soul Blader. Yeah, the original version was called Soul Blader. That's right. We do need to thank our host. Thank you very much.
Well,
this was yeah.
It's been really fun being here. It's been really great seeing all the support in chat. Thank you everyone for coming through and making this a wonderful time. Really appreciate you spending your evening or day with us here today.
Okay, so the master is going to ask us, apparently, Blazer is a little worried, what's on his mind? I don't know what happened with you and that girl. But, being attracted to a human means that you are not established as a heavenly creature. I guess I'm not really sure what we are, whether we're an angel or a human, but we're a heavenly creature of some sort. And maybe we should just try being a human. However, of course, once we go down to Earth, we will lose all of our memories. So Lisa's back here. And Lisa, Turbo the dog, we saw his grave earlier. Turbo the dog is unfortunately passed away, but she has renamed this goat Turbo, so.
There's adding that to the dolphin, snail, and the rest of the menagerie of pets we've had so far in this game.
That's right. Lisa missed, having all the pets around, so she's got a goat as her pet now. And we did promise her to come back, so we're back. Don't we remember her? No, we can't believe it. Of course, she can tell that you can tell her yes or no. But if you tell her yes, then, or I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? This is a situation where the Japanese hi that means I agree. So she normally says, "You don't remember me, do you?" And in Japanese, you'd say hi, which means, "Oh, that's right." But so if you say, yeah, but she knows that you don't remember her, but that's all right. She won't ask you again because we can just create many new memories.
I like how she jumps from "you don't remember me" to "you clearly lost your entire memory because I was important enough that I'd be there."
That's right. I mean, why would we remember anything else if we forgot, if we forgot her? Turbo says hello. Bleep. I guess that's what goats say.
I don't have any training on what goats say. I only know what foxes say. There was a whole video about that one. I don't have one for goats.
And we're gonna go off, and I guess we're gonna live with. That was what the master said. Come down and live with the humans. So, live with Lisa. So, I think here we get the end. So here's the real end. So yeah, so glad we got to see the whole ending here. So thanks so much. There's a simulator for ghosts. Yeah.
That's a very good point. Oh, well, that was a very lovely speed run. Can we get one more round of applause in chat for TheAxeMan with this amazing Soul Blazer run and this amazing ending?
Thank you for having me here and for having TaskBot. It was really special.
Always good to have both you and TaskBot as a guest. With that, we're going to be for our next run. Our next run is going to be a Spot the Difference game. If you've never seen one of those speedruns, I definitely recommend sticking around. But while we're getting that set up, it's a good time to take a break, stretch, and we'll be back before you know it. Thanks, everyone. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. Again, you are watching Power Up with Pride, raising money for the Trevor Project. And thank you to everyone who's been donating. We're already at over $4,000. We did have another donation come in, $25 from Trainer Anade, who says, "Let's meet that hidden song incentive. I want more rhythm games and more marathon. Don't you?" I certainly do. I hope you do as well, chat. And again, that's for Citus A. We have a Play the Hidden Songs incentive that if we get met, Zello will play a selection of the hidden songs, some of the most difficult Citus has to offer. That's at $190 out of a needed 300, so only around 100 to go. We're